Hello everyone and welcome back to the Great Ace Attorney Adventures. Last time we heard testimony from the policeman and his wife who apparently saw the incident take place. And this time, we're being asked if we should raise an objection to the new testimony we got regarding the books that were scattered about the scene. You know, as we pointed out at the very end of the last episode, we are of course going to raise an objection because that last book could not have come from the scene, or it could not have come from the accused. I'm not done yet. No, my learned friend, it's over. That last cross-examination was your final chance to establish a credible defense, and you failed. The die has been cast. There's no more room for debates. Well, it might be over as far as you're concerned, but... I can't think of what to say. Dude, we know exactly what to say. Come on now, come on. If I may, Lord Van Zieks, it seems somewhat boorish to close down the debate at this point. Humph. Your insignificant little Eastern Isle must be a lawless hole indeed. Yo, you just called Japan a lawless hole. Are you gonna take that? Come on, Ryunosuke. For a lowly judicial assistant to have the audacity to intervene in a moment like this. Oh? I am, to my shame, still a very inexperienced lawyer. So you will have to forgive me, but I consider my assistant's advice essential and her opinions invaluable. Mr. Naruhodo. One of this lad's great guiding principles is tolerance. So the court will hear you, madam. Go ahead, Mr. Sato, please. Very well. Pray, what insight can you give us? What have you all overlooked in this matter that you see fit to pursue further? Well, the court has been presented with new evidence, but only after the last cross-examination finished. I see. And you believe that this new evidence warrants further examination, do you? And everyone's throwing up exclamation points, you know? Mr. Naruhodo, what do you think? I already looked at it! It's just possible that this new evidence might be the decisive proof we've been waiting for. The judge is sure to ask the members of the jury to announce their leanings in a moment. And of course, he's sure to ask you to explain what the crucial piece of evidence is and why. So we must take this opportunity to examine the newly presented evidence as thoroughly as possible. Yes, I understand. And thank you, Mrs. Sato. This is it. Susato-san has managed to win us one last chance here. I can't let it go to waste. I'm pretty sure all she said was, excuse me. You know, and that's all that really was needed there. And for some reason, Ryunosuke didn't do that. The defense wishes to present evidence, my lord. Very well. The defense may present one further piece of evidence. Evidence that apparently offers a profound insight into this case, and has hitherto been overlooked. It's the book!
Take that!
The evidence in question is what we can see from the newly presented photographic print of the crime scene. The fourth book, found in the victim's hand.
Objection!
We have already discussed the fourth book at length. Other than it being in the victim's grasp at the time of the incident, no significance has been attached to it. Well, not until now! Pursuing the matter further would be a flagrant waste of the court's time, as you well know. Ugh! Stop reacting like that. Yes, I'm afraid, counsel. I must concur with the prosecution on this matter. When I afforded you this opportunity... Dude, shut up and let me speak! You led the court to believe that the evidence in question contained the hitherto undiscovered clue. So I must insist that you elaborate, counsel. You will identify this clue at once. Do I make myself clear? Oh, yes, my lord. It's, Mr. Naruhodo. I believe the prosecution is trying to avoid a thorough examination of the evidence, which means we may very well be on the right track. Yes, I think you might be right. I know I'm right, gosh. So, counsel, precisely where is this vital clue to the case? which this book conceals. My dude, are you blind? It's right on the back there. Oh, I didn't want to examine that. I wanted to present it. Dang it. Yeah, skip. I don't care. I read this last time. Alright, present that. I would ask the court to observe the back of the book in question. The back? What do you... Good gracious! It's been burnt to a crisp! So we have to ask ourselves, why was the victim clutching what is clearly an unreadable book? It's undeniably an extremely unnatural thing for her to have been doing.
Objection!
Well, I just noticed that she's holding, like, his whole scarf. Unnatural, you say? And what of it, my Nipponese friend? Oh? Were I to concede the point, if it bears no relation to the case, there's nothing to discuss. So should you wish to assert that this fire damage is some veiled clue as to what happened that day? Pray, do enlighten us all. What truth does this charred book hide? Charred book. There's just one possibility here, which I can't quite bring myself to rule out. It's an outside chance, certainly, but worth a try. Alright, I'll explain my theory. Don't keep us waiting any longer then, counsel. Explain this theory of yours. What are you suggesting that you can ascertain for the fire damage this sorry tome has suffered? Its owner... My lord, the burn on the back of this book reveals a startling truth about the book's owner. I beg your pardon, but we already know who the book belongs to. The victim was gripping in her hand as she fell to the floor after all. It's obviously hers. The question of how this book came to be in the victim's hand has yet to be answered. However, as to the questions of who the book really belongs to, and where it originated, the defense, big points, has very credible answers. Good gracious, how could you possibly... Very well, I'll play along with this futile attempt to delay your inevitable demise. But do remember, the members of the jury may well burn you if your little gamble goes awry. After all, they are firebenders. Counsel, the defense's response here is very likely to influence the final outcome of this trial. So tell the court, who do you claim is the owner of this burnt book? It's the landlord. Where is he? There he is. John Garrideb.
Take that!
The answer is that the book belongs to the couple who own the house where the defendant has his lodgings. Big points! A certain Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb. The landlords! That's right! The jury... It's so stupid how one of the members of the jury is getting directly involved in this case. And whether this is some extraordinary coincidence or some kind of fate at work, I don't know, but... Can I call one of the jury members to the stand, please? Of all the people in London, one of the 6 chosen for jury duty in this courtroom today is none other than Mrs. Garrideb herself. Oh my goodness, me? I think you must be mistaken, sir. I'm not Mr. Garrideb's wife. I'm his maid. Things would be so much easier if you would just drop the pretense. Alright then, how about a simple question for you? Have you ever seen this book in Mr. Garrideb's house? I would never presume to know all of the books he keeps, sir.
Objection!
This is outlandish behavior. This woman is the accused landlady, you say? You implicate this hard-working member of the public? You besmirch her without a shred of evidence? She's got the ring! Your actions are unforgivable.
Objection!
Can we just ask who is the wife, then? This is not mere conjecture. The defense happens to know that on the day in question, at almost exactly the same time as the victim was stabbed on the pavement below, another incident was taking place in the room on the top floor of Mr. and Mrs. Garrideb's house. Good lord! What sort of incident, counsel? A fire, my lord. Afraid to say it was. Happened in the blink of an eye, you know. The whole place filled with smoke. Couldn't see a bally thing. Didn't take long for the fire to spread, of course. The bally furniture started going up as well. Worst of it is, I lost my favorite. Book called Lions. Oh, he directly named the book. I didn't remember that. Oh, dude, what is that? I don't think we ever seen this pose of his before. The Lion's Pride. By Jove! The very same title that's the subject of this debate. Oh dear me!
Objection!
This is risible. All you've told the court is that a book by the same name was involved in a fire. In which case, it would be reasonable to assume that it was burnt to ashes. And entirely unreasonable to infer that it magically removed itself to the scene of the crime. Perhaps it would make more sense if I told you that the cause of the fire was marital discord. Without going into details, it appears that Mrs. Garrideb was considerably enraged. Apparently, she continued to attack Mr. Garrideb even amid the flames. Oh, how awful. I can't even imagine being so horrid to the one you love. Can you, Rolly? Absolutely not, sir. My Patricia would never raise a finger against me, sir. She would strangle you, though. I don't know, are you into that? Had all my favorite old novels in that case. But as soon as the fire got a hold of them, that was it. Whoosh! Up in smoke. Then the wife started hurling things at me. There was I, back up against the window under heavy enemy fire. Incendiary books incoming 10 to the dozen. The man had his back up against the window, and he had burning books thrown at him? Good gracious, are you suggesting that it was thrown out the window? That the book was thrown through a window and landed coincidentally at the scene of the crime?
Objection!
No. A thorough investigation of the surrounding area was conducted the very evening of the incident, and there's no report of the Garrideb's window pane being broken. It could have just been open, my dude. That's quite true, but we also saw no sign of broken glass when we visited the Garrideb's household. But is it not conceivable that the window was open at the time and not even remotely? Let us not forget the season and the chilling weather that accompanies it. No Londoner would ever leave a window open in the middle of winter. Ugh. Dude, you can't keep using this logic. You can't keep getting away with it. You can't just say, like, oh, it's wintertime. It's inconceivable he would take a long route back to his house. And now he's saying, oh, it's inconceivable that the window would be, like, open. Oh my gosh, dude. You can't keep getting away with it, man. Does the defense postulate this scenario in all his seriousness, counsel? Do you earnestly claim that the book found at the scene was a flaming projectile thrown by Mr. Garrideb's wife? I believe it's a possibility, my lord. That's quite enough! It's probably her, isn't it? Yeah. Well, I hope that everyone can see you for what you are now, you little foreign trickster. You call yourself a lawyer, but you're just a coward. A mean coward. Really? Claiming that our little tiff set the whole neighborhood all right. Honestly. Oh, alight. Oh, sorry, not all right. Implying that I'm merely posing as a maid for appearance's sake. How could you? It's nothing to do with this beastly case. Not any of it. All you've done is sully our family's name. No, I assure you, that was never my intention. Dragging an upstanding citizen's name through the mud simply to divert attention from your failing defense. What did she just do? What? She just took a swipe at juror number 5. I should box your ears. That's what I should do. It's utterly unforgivable. 2 rights. Here we go. Yeah, these 2 jury members hate me. How long have we sat here now, listening to this Nipponese spouting out his fancy foreign theories? But, think about it. At the end of the day, the only person who could possibly have stabbed the victim is that little hunchback with the mustache. And he ran away from the scene too. I do declare you're right. It's true. Yes! What did I tell you? Makes sense to me. Sorry? What's that? Well, it would appear that the ladies and gentlemen of the jury are once again in full agreement. Are we gonna have to do this again, dude? What is your position, Lord Van Zeeks? In truth, my lord, I feel these have been unnecessarily protracted proceedings. But then one must always exercise patience in order to savor the best vintage. No, wait. The mystery of the fourth book still hasn't been... Oh man, he's got the leg up now. If books are your predilection, I've never seen that word. Predilection? My learned friends, study them on your own time. What? No forgive the discourtesy this time? Ahem! In that case, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you will now state your individual decisions regarding the defendant's culpability for the court to hear.
Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty.
Oh, why?
Guilty.
How come their backgrounds were red?
Guilty.
Weren't they
Guilty.
already black before? So, do we get to do the summation examination again? Thank you for that unambiguous response. That's twice now. It's over. Mr. Naruhodo, don't give up. Mrs. Sato, have you forgotten? The battle isn't over yet. You're not suggesting... Of course, the defense has the right to another summation examination at this point. You could still convince the jurors to change their minds. You have one more chance. My lord, the defense has to exercise its right to a summation examination. Humph. You believe you still have tricks up your sleeve? I don't intend to trick anybody. I intend to uncover the truth. It's no time to downcast. As long as there's a chance, I have to stay strong and determined. To be continued. Alright, well, we're only like halfway through the episode. We're just gonna drive on through. We will, of course, save our progress. Trial part 2. I kind of want to keep this conversation of us, like, saying, oh, you're so silly, you shouldn't be doing this. Like, can we just keep it short, please? I have considered the defense's counsel request for a further summation examination of the jury. And I have determined that the court must uphold the defense's judicial right to the procedure. That's a lot of big words. So, counsel, you will now proceed with your second summation examination. I presume the jury is ready, Mr. Foreman? We are, my lord. Very good. In that case, I must ask each of you now to state clearly and concisely for the court the grounds on which you find the defendant guilty of this crime. Okay, I'm so proud of this game for keeping that conversation really short. Because I totally could have imagined the prosecutor be like, this is a waste of time, you don't deserve it. Like, we've already been at lengths of it, and then, like, it goes back to the jury members, and they're like, oh, yeah, he's right, you don't have to do this. I'm really proud of the game for doing that. The accused left behind evidence at the scene, didn't he? Those 3 books of his. If there was some novel alternative explanation about how the victim was stabbed, I might reconsider. Even if the woman was throwing books, it can't be related to this crime if the window was closed, can it? Dearie me, it was only a little book, hardly life-threatening, even with a direct hit. It was a flaming projectile. Look, I just want to get this over with. If I don't bring it home some pay tonight, I'll be in a tiny bit of trouble. Dude, you can't just keep doing that. Come to think of it, we had a fire at home a while ago. It gave me the sneezes. Oh? That's... What does that last statement have to do with anything? Yes, considerably more tangible arguments from all members of the jury this time around, it seems. No, they're not! I'm pretty sure those last 2 were nothing. With one notable exception, of course. My learned student friend was unable to find fault in the previous witness testimony. So the court must accept the fact that it was indeed the accused seen fleeing from the scene. Wow, that's say that 5 times fast. Seen fleeing from the scene. And moreover, no one else was even at the scene to commit the crime. Well, if the eyewitnesses are correct, it would seem as if the conclusion is somewhat set in stone. I fail to see how it could be argued any other way. Is it gonna be one of those cases where, like, she was stabbed and she had, like, an incredible amount of painkillers injected and she didn't, like, feel the pain and then she just fell over dead in the middle of the street or something like that? That means, I'm afraid, that during the summation examination, it's essential that you establish some other tangible explanation for the facts. But how? What would even constitute a tangible explanation here? Is it an obvious? Who stabbed the woman and how? Those two details are all you need to provide. Simply give us a name and a method by which the attack was conducted. And there I was, thinking this might be hard. But Mr. Naruhodo, you have to do it. Otherwise, this really will be where the trial ends. Ugh, no pressure then. That's quite enough preamble. Proceed with the summation examination, please. I presume you are prepared, counsel. Oh yes, my lord. Alright, Ryunosuke, focus your mind now. Big slap. I still hate that animation so much. Clearly, the key to this summation examination is going to be juror number 4, the maid. Or should I say, Mrs. Garrideb. We have a book that disappeared from the Garrideb's house on the evening of the incident. And the 4th book found in the victim's hand. There must be a way to link the two. Yes, that's what we have to find. Using every technique I've learned in my short career so far, whatever it takes. Don't forget to keep an eye on Mrs. Garrideb and how she reacts, even to the things other people say. Oh, okay. It's gonna be one of those. Oh, the witnesses are standing in the back now. That's kind of cool. Well, okay, so we probably have to press something, and then she's gonna react to it. So, I think we just start pressing.
Hold it!
But as we now know, there were 4 books, not 3. Well, what difference does it make? There's every possibility that the 4th book, in fact, belongs to the defendant's landlord. Yes, that's the part I have a problem with. Sorry? Well, at the point the woman was stabbed, this landlord fellow was at home, wasn't he? Enjoying a fiery scrap with his wife or something, you said. That's not exactly how I put it, no. Well, anyway, the point is, the fellow and his wife were somewhere else when it happened. But, dude, they're across the street, 2 stories up. Like, come on now. I think that's what you call a strong alibi. So it couldn't have been the landlord who did it, which only leaves the Nipponese fellow. Honestly, I can't see what all this palaver is about. It's a done deal, isn't it? I suppose it is, since I have nothing witty left to say. Okay, we didn't get anything out of that. There's some sort of alternative explanation about the victim was stabbed. I might reconsider it.
Hold it!
So, you might be willing to change your decision, you mean? Oh my, such delight on your face. But I'm afraid I shan't be swayed by emotion. Despite what you may think of me, I am a very modern, metropolitan, and rational woman. That's great. If one reads the morning papers, it's all forgotten by tea time, isn't it? So why read them in the first place? You see, modern, metropolitan, and rational thinking, wouldn't you say? And not at all extreme. As I see it, an overwhelmingly suspicious Japanese man has been implicated by overwhelmingly strong testimony. So despite 1 or 2 minor puzzlements, I do declare that the man is overwhelmingly guilty. Modern, metropolitan, and rational logic, wouldn't you say? Overwhelmingly. But us modern gals aren't always delighted to embrace new fads, you know. So I'd be only too happy to consider an exciting new theory if you could come up with one. I'd be happy to do that too, if only I could. Let's do our very best not to disappoint the modern and metropolitan young lady. But right. I'm glad you omitted rational there. I was just about to say, you kind of left that part out. Even if the woman was throwing books, it can't be related to this crime if the window was closed, can it? Press. But what about the possibility that the window was open? What about it? I mean, there's just no way it could have been. How can he be so sure? The prosecutor fellow over there said it earlier, didn't he? Winters in London are no joke. You don't want to invite that sort of cold indoors. So no, that window wasn't open. Us Londoners like sitting by the fire and staying warm, see? But you couldn't categorically state that the window wasn't open, could you? It just wasn't. They wouldn't have opened it. Dude, I hate this argument so much! Then what's the point in even having windows, huh? Counsel, you will kindly refrain from childish bickering. Oh, sorry. Somehow I need to show there's an undeniable possibility that the window was open. Because this young man isn't going to budge otherwise. Deary me, it only was a little bug, hardly life-threatening, even with the direct hit. It was a flaming projectile. But the little book was on fire at the time, was it not? The flames of love, I'll have you know. I think a little more than the flames of love. There's really no such thing as a loving incendiary bomb. What is she doing when she does that? Well, he brought it up upon himself. It's playing with fire to betray a fiery love. Isn't it? Well, don't you agree? Oh, well, any kind of betrayal is certainly a bad thing, yes. But I think the argument might have arisen out of your misunderstanding, Mrs. Garrideb. Never mind you that. The point is, we were just having a jovial little dispute. Nothing more. And I won't have any more of this, these suggestions that it was anything whatsoever to do with this crime. Right. Well, we'll see about that. Well, what about juror number 5? Yeah, what is she doing? He doesn't seem to be turning a hair at Mrs. Garrideb's relentless onslaughts. It's almost as though he's used to it. What a gentle soul he is. Alright, so these last two guys don't even have anything, so let's suppress them.
Hold it!
I need an actual reason, my dude. You just want to get this over with? How can you sit there and say something like that? A man's future is at stake here. Well, him and me both then, like I said before. What? I told you already, I'm a day laborer, aren't I? If I don't bring home some readies with me tonight, you'll find me floating face down in the Thames. Is that how you say it? Is that Thames or Thames? Thames. I know it's a river, I think. Yeah, something like that. Tomorrow morning. What? You heard me? My missus isn't one to mess about, you know. She can be fierce, believe you me. Another shining example of marital bliss, then. A situation like this cropped up the other day. It was, well, Wait, are you saying that this is, like, related, to the crime? Do you know, it's funny, but I can't quite remember. Oh, sorry. He's used to having his wife hit him, and that's why he's not, like, flinching. It was too frightening, that's the thing. I must have blocked it out. Helpful. I wonder if Mr. Beat will ever be dragged, into the flames by his scarf. Don't even go there, Mrs. Sato. There must be some way to jog his memory about this. Interesting. Okay, what does this have to do with anything, old man? Does that have anything to do with your decision about the defendant's culpability in this case? Sorry? What's that? You'll have to speak up, lad. Could you tell us more about that fire? It was last winter. My grandchildren baked me a lovely cake on my birthday. It had 75 candles on the top, it did. What a sight to behold it was. Oh, okay, is the possibility that we're going to bring up is that they opened the window to clear out the smoke? You put candles on a cake? Was it some kind of devil worship? What? What? What are you saying, my dude? Is putting candles on a cake some foreign concept to him? Of course not. It was an angel cake. To celebrate my birthday, obviously. It seems that it's a common custom here in Great Britain, Mr. Naruhodo. Anyway, I mustered all my puff to blow them out. Only I must have blown wrong somehow. The flames didn't go out, but candles went flying all over the room. The furniture caught and everything went up. The whole place filled with smoke. Definitely sounds like devil worship to me. No, come on, Ryunosuke. And by the sneezes, I presume you mean a cold? Or how'd you catch a cold from the fire? Well, if you ask who it was, the grandchildren, bless them, threw water over me as they tried to put out the flames. And then, because the whole room had filled up with smoke, of course, here we go, here's the clincher! We had to open all the windows to clear it. The windows? The biting winter air rushed over me like the devil dancing on my grave, it did. I caught a terrible cold from it. Put me in the hospital for a while. I won't forget that birthday in a hurry. So here we go. We're going to pit juror number 3 against juror number 6 here, and it's all going to work out. Something about this old man's story is playing in my mind for some reason. We need to demonstrate who, apart from Mr. Natsume, could have attacked the young woman on the street, as well as how he, or she, could have done it. We don't discriminate with genders. Yes, but once again, the jurors' statements are full of personal prejudice. A lot of them seem convinced they're right, even in the face of logical arguments to the contrary. I think you're gonna need to pit them against each other, force them to accept an alternative explanation. Yes. I don't necessarily need to find contradictions between their assertions, just a connection might do the trick. Alright, I'll see what I can do. If anything stands out, I'll go in for a strike. That's the spirit. Well, here we go. I think this will be the last thing we do for the episode. Let's get over here. Oh, wait, no, sorry, not juror number 3, it's 2. Oh, wait, no, wait, hang on. Who's talking about the window? Oh, it's this. It is 3. Never mind. Take that!
Objection.
These two jurors' statements clearly contradict one another. They do? How exactly, counsel? Don't point at me again. I told you it wasn't me. What's that you say? Speak up, lad. Speak up. Juror number 3. Do you see? Oh, me? See what, sir? Did you hear juror number 6's account of his birthday celebrations last year? It seems, despite being a Londoner, he once opened his windows in the middle of winter. Oh, well, yes, of course, because it was an emergency. I mean, obviously, if the room was filled with smoke from a fire, then you'd be mad not to open the... Yeah, you see it now, you dumby? Oh, exactly. On the day in question, at the time of the incident, there was a fire in the Garrideb household. And Mr. Garrideb had the following to say about it. The whole place filled with smoke.
Oh my.
Oh my hat. Oh. Let's pursue that.
Excuse me.
Juror number 4, do you have something to say about that? Oh, she's nervous now. Mrs. Garrideb! Oh, dearie me! What is the meaning of this? How dare you imply that I'm hiding who I really am? It's imperative that you confirm something for the courts. So please, it's time to drop the pretense now. Oh, what is it? When the fire started in your house that day, did you or your husband open the window? What? I beg your pardon. Well, what are you insinuating? That's he opened the window and then you threw the book out the window. It's that simple. Come on now. The room would have been thick with smoke after the carpet and bookcase caught fire as they did. In a situation like that, it's inconceivable that you wouldn't have opened the window. And what if we did? Oh, all right then. Yes, you're right. My husband was frantically trying to open the window, which can't have been easy since I continued to give him a justly deserved book battering, even though your house was on fire. Oh, you never stop throwing until the anger subsides. It would be terribly bad for the nerves to do otherwise. Of course, I should have realized. No, that's not how that works. That's a significant step forward, Mr. Naruhodo. You've managed to establish that the window was open. We simply must have that added to Mrs. Garrideb's formal statement. Oh, that doesn't convince juror number 3? Excuse me? Okay. Guys, I am looking at the time here. I gotta stop the episode here, unfortunately, but I'm pretty sure next we're gonna pit her statement against his now. Or something like that. We'll figure it out next time. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's episode. I hope you all have a good day. Talk to you later, guys. Bye!